Namaste and welcome to all of you from Dhananjaya Kumar. In this video, let's consider a question, what if? Many of you may have seen an earlier video I made about what if questions, 50 what if questions. And it is possible that you may not have made notes when I listed those. And at the end of that video, there was a screen with all the 50 questions listed there. And you may not have a chance to pause there and take a screenshot. So, to make it easier, please send an email asking for the list of 50 what if questions to this email, yogacharyadhananjay@gmail.com. Now the purpose of going through the what if questions, and I do that with kids once in a while. I take a what if question and ask them, what is your answer? That forces them to imagine a world that is different from they are used to. Now that is quite a challenge for the mind, to imagine something it has never known. So one of the questions is, what if dinosaurs did not get extinguished? You may have heard some stories about dinosaurs, that 65 million years ago, when dinosaurs roamed the earth, there was a large asteroid that collided into the earth and created a massive explosion with dust and smoke basically covering the planet, and along with dinosaurs, many other species got extinguished. So the question is, what if dinosaurs were not extinguished? That is, that particular asteroid did not collide with the earth and dinosaurs were alive today. Now that is, you have to go back in history and imagine the sequence of events that would have taken place in the past up to the present time, with lots and lots of dinosaurs on the planet Earth. So there are many storylines hidden in it. First of all, let's be aware that dinosaurs were of many kinds. Some were herbivores, which means they only ate vegetation, trees, plants. Some were carnivores, which means they eat other animals. And some were omnivores, which means they eat both other animals and plants. So, it is perhaps logical to think that if dinosaurs were not extinguished, there will be many more dinosaurs. In the last thousands of generations, they would have multiplied, and they would be around the earth all over, wherever their life is possible to exist. So, if we consider the carnivores, that those dinosaurs ate other animals. So if they ate other animals, probably the creatures from the oceans would not have crawled and survived on the ground. In that case, no other species outside water would be alive today. They would have eaten all the animals even if they survived on land. They would become their food. And after that, those carnivores, meat-eating dinosaurs, would have probably adapted to becoming herbivores, which means they would also eat plants. So now we have many more dinosaurs eating plants. So gradually, when they multiply, they probably roam around looking for plants, and probably they ate up all the plants and trees. So without plants and trees, the breathing kind of life would not exist. So perhaps dinosaurs would have extinguished themselves without being able to have oxygen, or they would have just become fossils or become water creatures. They go back in water and find food there. These possibilities exist. But in either case, perhaps all the millions of species which evolved because dinosaurs were extinguished would not have happened, and therefore humans would not have existed. So eventually, one scenario is dinosaurs would have been extinguished much later, of course, and life would have not evolved. But perhaps after dinosaurs extinguished for other natural causes, not because of asteroid impact, then perhaps we would today be at an earlier phase of evolution of life. There will be fewer species, definitely not thinking and talking and walking like us. We would not have evolved, but other species may have evolved. It is possible. So that is one scenario to look at, is evolution of life. What would have happened? In most of the scenarios that we can imagine, dinosaurs would probably become extinguished anyway, and life will be at a more primitive stage of evolution. Another possible scenario would be that as the food supply became less and less available to dinosaurs, because there were fewer animals, they ate up most of them. There were very few trees and plants because they ate up most of them. So gradually, perhaps the size and shape of dinosaurs became smaller and smaller so that they would need less and less food and survive. Because nature and life have a very peculiar way to find a mode of survival. Nature is very persistent in that sense. It finds ways or creates new kinds of foods. Perhaps there will be creatures will eat rocks, and there are plenty of rocks on the planet. Sounds crazy idea, but it is not beyond imagination. Suppose they only became water drinking animals, and water has oxygen and water has lots of other nutrients and minerals and so on and so forth. So maybe they'll become tiny creatures and go back in the sea. That is a possibility too. So now I suggest and request to you, please take this question, and there are many other questions of this kind, and talk to kids about it. Let them start imagining. Because when they imagine alternate scenario, something they never thought about it, and they have no experience or knowledge about it, they begin to innovate new ways, new ideas, new principles, and they become closer to nature, and they become closer to their own mind, their own way of thinking. So to excite imagination, to foresee a future which may be different, actually may be forced to be different, because the way the climate situation is happening on Earth, it is becoming a serious threat for human survival. And we have contributed to that in the past. And we are bearing the result now. And if we do not shape up now, then future generations will be even worse off. So I believe and I feel that we as humans have the capability to adapt and change drastically, because small changes may take few hundred or thousand years to have an impact. By then the situation will be out of control. So to sensitize children to alternative futures, to new ideas, new concepts, new imagination, it is important to give them the opportunity to imagine. And through imagination, they can become very creative in finding solutions to our problems. Thank you for listening, and I appreciate your attention and look forward to speaking with you again in the near future.